Why, hello, Hope Community Church. Hope everyone's doing today. I'm doing well today. A little bit late and a little bit of a long day, but here we are on the 14th now. We're going to start Joshua 3. Just going to go ahead and read all of it because it's pretty short, and then I've just really got 2 points that I'd like to talk about. Yeah, see if we can get some questions going back and forth even because why not? So, all right, Joshua 3. Early in the morning, Joshua and the Israelites set out from Shittim, which is what I'm going to call it. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation, and went to the Jordan, where they camped before crossing over. After 3 days, usually a significant number, uh, the officers went throughout the camp, giving orders to the people. When you see the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord your God and the Levitical priest carrying it, you are to move out from your positions and follow it. Then you will know which way to go, since you have never been this way before. Keep a distance about 2,000 cubits between you and the ark. Do not go near it. Joshua told the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. Joshua said to the priest, take up the ark of the covenant and pass on ahead of the people. So they took it up and went ahead of them. And the Lord said to Joshua, today I will begin to exalt you in the eyes of all Israel, so they may know that I am with you as I was with Moses. Tell the priests who carry the ark of the covenant, when you reach the edge of the Jordan's waters, go and stand in the river. Joshua said to the Israelites, come here and listen to the words of the Lord your God. This is how you will know that the living God is among you, and that he will certainly drive out before you the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Hivites, Perizzites, I'm going to butcher that name, Jebusites, the Amorites, and the Jebusites. See, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth will go into the Jordan ahead of you. Now then, choose 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one from each tribe, and as soon as the priests who carry the ark of the Lord of all the earth, set foot in the Jordan, its waters flowing downstream will be cut off and stand up in a heap. So when the people broke camp to cross the Jordan, the priest carrying the Ark of the Covenant went ahead of them. Now the Jordan is at flood stage all during harvest. Yet as soon as the priests who carried the ark reached the Jordan and their feet touched the water's edge, the water from upstream stopped flowing. It piled up in a heap a great distance away at a town called Adam in the vicinity of Zarethan. While the water flowing down to the sea of that's the Dead Sea, was completely cut off, so the people crossed over opposite of Jericho. The priest who carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord stopped in the middle of the Jordan and stood on dry ground, while all Israel passed by until the whole nation had completed the crossing on dry ground. Number one, this is awesome. This is just like the Dead Sea with all the Israelites crossing through. This time there isn't an army to their back. There isn't a pillar of fire and a pillar of cloud. So it's not as, oh my gosh, what's going on, I think, in the Israelites' mind. But at the same time, you just had a whole wall of water, nothing downstream in dry ground. And that's always the part that gets me every time that I read, the story of the Red Sea, and even this one. It's they crossed on dry ground. But one thing that got me as I was reading this, and it's not even in my notes, how would you like to be told, like in verse 6, take up the Ark of the Covenant and pass on ahead of the people? So they took it and they went up. No. Sorry. So here we go. Verse 8, sorry. Tell the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant. When you reach the edge of the water, go in and stand in the river. So if it was me and my thinking, just because the way my mind works, I'm like, okay, go in, barely step in the river, fine. And then later here, It's pretty much like, no, they're in the middle of the river. So if I was the guys carrying covenant, like, A, God's doing amazing things. But in the back of my mind, like, even though I'm sitting there seeing that, I'm like, surely this wall is going to collapse. Like that's my own doubt. Like, call me Thomas. I don't care. You know that my name's Caleb. But in this moment, it would be Thomas for sure. It would be so awe-wondering, but I would just be sitting there amazed and wondering, how long is this going to hold? But yet God protects his people, and they all cross, which is just amazing. So I want to talk about verse 5, where it says, Joshua said to the people, consecrate yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do amazing things among you. And I don't want to take this out of context at all. So I want to be very kind of serious to that, because obviously you don't want to just take it and be like, oh, if you sit there and pray and ask for God's blessing, it'll come upon you, because I don't think that's the case. But I also think when God's moving, and clearly God's been moving already in the Israelites' lives, but when God's moving, I think there comes a time that we do need to also kind of step back and realize, holy cow, God is working. There's stuff that's going on. There's things that are building up. And so it's a time to just kind of reflect, pause and reflect, and really, kind of get raw with God and just fully just confess, in a time to just sing his praises, but also just to admit where we're human, where we've sinned. And just doing this consecrate like ourselves to God, and just waiting to see just the amazing things that he's going to do. So I'd almost say, like, if there's things going on in our lives that, we're starting to see God moving in a little spots here and there, and then all of a sudden you start seeing it pick up a little bit more steam, I think it's a moment where we should, take a break and kind of reflect, and just really just focus on God and see what he's about to do. Like I said, I don't want to take it out of context. I don't want to sit there and just say, oh, if we always sit here and, really focus on God, that, oh, we're going to get blessed, because that's not the case. That's not what I'm trying to get at, and I hope I'm making that clear. And then also, so with the whole, first the priests go into the water, and once they go into the water, then the water's going to stand. And I think about some of the New Testament miracles when Jesus was on earth, and how he was like, oh, here's mud in your eyes, go rinse it off, and you'll be healed. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, like, got mud on my eyes, go rinse it off, I'll be healed. And it took that act of faith, or else pick up your mat and walk. It took action on those people's parts. And part of me wonders too, like, again, this is the Thomas side of me, of like, how many people did God and Jesus say, hey, like, cast down whatever and walk? Like, I wonder if those people that just didn't have the faith, and how many, like, and then you sit there and you'd wonder, like, years later, if they sat there and were just remorseful, and whether or not they were repentant, because the fact that they, questioned the Son of God, of, no, he can't do that. Like, why am I bother even trying? I'm, paralyzed, or I'm XYZ, you name the illness. But it's just something that, I hope if God ever presented an opportunity to exercise my faith like that, like, I wonder if I'd be willing. And I wonder, what your thoughts would be as well. Like, I think we all would say, oh yeah, we definitely would. But genuinely, like, it does take getting out of your own head, because the paralyzed people know they're paralyzed in this context of Jesus healing them, and yet they also know that he is the healer. So I don't know, just something that I thought about, but that's pretty much all I've got today. The next part's going to be fun here in chapter 4, when you start crossing the Jordan. You get to build an Ebenezer and start seeing how God really works throughout Israel. So look forward to doing Joshua here with you guys. Have a great evening or a great day, great morning. Either way, blessings.